The ashes of World War II settled upon a world cleaved in two. From the ruins of conflict arose an ideological struggle: democracy versus communism. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies against fascism, now stood as superpowers, their rivalry casting a long shadow over the globe. This marked the beginning of the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension that would profoundly shape the American psyche for decades to come. The Cold War was not a conventional war with battlefields and front lines. It was a war of ideology, a clash of values, and a struggle for global dominance. The two superpowers, armed with nuclear weapons, engaged in a high-stakes game of chess, vying for influence across the globe. The threat of Soviet expansionism, coupled with the rise of Communist China, fueled a sense of urgency in Washington. Fear, like a virus, spread through American society during the Cold War. The communist threat, though often exaggerated, became a powerful tool for political manipulation. The fear of communist infiltration, espionage, and potential sabotage created a climate of suspicion and paranoia. It was the era of McCarthyism, marked by Senator Joseph McCarthy's relentless pursuit of suspected communists. The Soviet Union's successful development of atomic weapons in 1949 shattered America's sense of security. The emergence of Communist China further heightened anxieties. Accusations flew, often without evidence, leading to ruined reputations, lost livelihoods, and even imprisonment. The Red Scare was a dark chapter in American history, a testament to the power of fear to warp even the most cherished democratic principles. The United States government, recognizing the power of information, embarked on a massive propaganda campaign to rally support for the Cold War effort. Propaganda posters, films, and radio broadcasts saturated the public sphere, depicting the stark contrast between American freedom and Soviet oppression. Images of happy American families contrasted sharply with depictions of downtrodden masses living under communist rule. Schools incorporated Cold War themes into their curriculum, teaching children about the dangers of communism and the importance of civic duty. Duck and cover drills became commonplace, preparing children for a potential nuclear attack. The Cold War permeated every aspect of American life, shaping the nation's worldview and influencing its cultural landscape. The government's propaganda campaign was largely successful in mobilizing public support for the Cold War effort. However, it also contributed to a climate of fear and suspicion, blurring the lines between legitimate national security concerns and unfounded paranoia. Section 4. Culture in the Crosshairs: Art, Media, and the Cold War. The Cold War's impact on American culture was pervasive, infiltrating the arts, literature, film, and even music. Artists grappled with the anxieties of the nuclear age, exploring themes of paranoia, conformity, and the fragility of freedom. This era witnessed the rise of abstract expressionism in painting, a movement that sought to convey the complexities of the human condition in a world on the brink. Novels like The Crucible by Arthur Miller used historical allegories to critique McCarthyism and the dangers of mass hysteria. Science fiction, with its tales of alien invasions and dystopian futures, often served as thinly veiled commentaries on the communist threat. Hollywood churned out a steady stream of films that reinforced the image of the communist menace. Rock and roll, with its roots in African-American musical traditions, emerged as a symbol of youthful rebellion, challenging societal norms and the conformity of the Cold War era. Section 5. Flashpoints: Key Events and the Escalation of Fear. Throughout the Cold War, certain events served as flashpoints, igniting public fear and pushing the two superpowers closer to the brink. The Korean War, from 1950 to 1953, brought the reality of communist aggression close to home for many Americans. The launch of Sputnik, the Soviet Union's first artificial satellite in 1957, sent shockwaves through the United States. It exposed a perceived missile gap between the two superpowers, fueling anxieties about Soviet technological superiority. The Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. The discovery of Soviet missiles in Cuba triggered a tense 13-day standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union. These events served as stark reminders of the ever-present threat of communism and the potential for Cold War tensions to escalate into a global conflict. Section 6. The Price of Freedom: Civil Liberties Under Siege. The Cold War's emphasis on national security came at a cost. The pursuit of suspected communists often trampled on civil liberties, creating an atmosphere of fear and suspicion. The House Un-American Activities Committee became a powerful tool for investigating suspected communist infiltration in American institutions. Individuals suspected of communist sympathies were blacklisted, their careers and reputations ruined. The Hollywood blacklist targeted writers, directors, and actors deemed politically subversive, denying them employment. The Supreme Court struggled to strike a balance between national security concerns and individual rights. The Cold War era witnessed a constant tension between the imperatives of national security and the preservation of civil liberties. Section 7. The Enduring Chill, the Cold War's Legacy on American Culture. The Cold War may have officially ended with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, but its legacy continues to reverberate through American culture. The fear of communism has been replaced by new anxieties, from terrorism to cyber warfare. The Cold War's legacy is evident in the United States' sprawling military-industrial complex. It can be seen in the nation's foreign policy, which often views the world through the lens of great power competition. And it is reflected in its popular culture, where themes of espionage, surveillance, and technological paranoia continue to resonate. The Cold War was a defining chapter in American history, shaping its identity, its values, and its place in the world. As the United States navigates the complexities of the 21st century, the lessons of the Cold War continue to offer valuable insights into the challenges and